I will now introduce something called the json syntax. So there is the string syntax and the json syntax. So far we've been using the string syntax, which is fairly straightforward, like run apt-get install figlet. But we can also specify this as a list of strings. And JSON syntax, but it could be the same syntax in Python and a few other languages. So I'm going to do that and see how the resulting image is different. Edit my Docker file, and here I put, whoops, apt-get, comma, install. Oh, I'm not being very figlet. Make sure that you use double quotes, and those are square brackets. I save this new Docker file. I build it. So docker build -t figlet dot. So the first thing we can see is that this did not use the cache for the Docker builder. This was a new command. And now if I look at the history for that image, well, first let's see if it behaves the same way. Like, can I still do docker run -ti figlet and then do figlet? Yeah, that still works. Great. Now let's look at the history for this new figlet image. The bottom is the same. Here I still have like apt-get update, but you see a little difference here. The apt-get update is really binsh-c apt-get update. However, the one that I specify with the JSON syntax, it's directly apt-get install figlet. There is no sh-c. So this is because under the hood, when I'm using the JSON syntax, when I use the JSON syntax, I'm telling to Docker, this is exactly the program I want to run. This is apt-get with these parameters. So you just exec that right away. When I use the string syntax, I'm saying, okay, so this is a vague string that I want you to pass to a shell, and the shell is going to expand variables and whatnot and execute that. So that's why in one case in the history, you can see apt-get install figlet, it's exactly that. And the other case you see binsh-c apt-get update, because it took my string and it wrapped that into a sh-c call. The difference, string syntax is obviously easier to write because you don't have all those brackets and double quotes and commas to put all over the place. The shell syntax will also expand variables like $this, $that, home directories, and it will create an extra process, which is not a big deal for run commands. The JSON syntax, I would say that the main advantage at this point for a build process is that it doesn't require binsh to exist in the container. So that might seem like a really long shot. Like, do I really want a container that doesn't even have a shell? Probably not. Sometimes there can be an interest, but if at some point you're like, okay, I really want that container to be super tiny or whatever, then if you don't have binsh in the container, you won't be able to use the shell syntax. We are going to see a little bit later that the JSON syntax has scenarios where it's really useful though.